And here we go. What's up, y'all? What it do? What it do? What it do? You already know who it is. It's your girl, your big sis, Lell Vintage. We here live and jive. Y'all know what we doing, talking all that goodness. I'm here with my special guest, my bro from up in the northern quarters. He's traveling worldwide. He's doing the big things. You know what I mean? Filmmaker and poet, amongst other things, with a lot of gifts in his hands, Mr. Phillip Kon-El Mcconnell. Yo, listen, we here, StageLeft. We worldwide. We trend. You want to take us on 95? Go on and take us down 95. 87, 81, Interstate 4. You already know. We ready to go. We ready to rock. So I need y'all to do me a couple of favors. I need you to hop on over to IG, click like, follow, share at 609 StageLeft. Follow your big sis. And then hop on over to Facebook and grab up the same. Just drop the 609 and just hit StageLeft. You already know your sis is doing some big things. We love to bring the journeys and the stories of all of our fellow artists, our brothers and sisters from around the globe, to your front door, right to your couch in your living room, so you don't never have to miss a beat. And if you miss it while we live right now, you can go ahead and press rewind and fast forward and do your thing. Just don't forget to write some things down, because it's going to be some interesting nuggets coming across these airways today. Ladies and gentlemen of StageLeft, fam out there all over the world, Mr. Phillip Kon-El Mcconnell and Mr. Phillip Kon-El Mcconnell. The ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, and fam of StageLeft, and the world is at your hands. What's up, my brother?
Hello. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, man. Thank you for accepting the invitation and rocking with us and coming on. And we didn't play phone tag, but we definitely tagged up. Tag team back again. And it was a dope situation. And I'm glad to have you on tonight. And I thank you for accepting that invitation. Matter of fact, I thank you for even rolling down on me while we was up in Highland Park, because that was something special. That was something special.
Yeah, so, Highland Park was crazy.
Yeah, yo, man. Packed out the... No, listen. I'm going to tell y'all about Highland Park, okay? My first time being in Highland Park, I'm up there with my bro, Mr. Collective himself. Yo, we was up there for a slam, and I really, I'm not a slammer. Y'all know my bro. Y'all know my bro, Chris Rockwell and the Chris Rockwell Collective. He invited me to rock the stage with him, and I'm like, yo, man, okay, I got you. But I ain't know we was slamming. And so, and when he told me when I got there, and I'm like, yo, okay, I got you. We know what we doing. And it was just a whole atmosphere full of love and energy and hypeness, like the stories and testimonies and poetry. The poets in the building rocked the stage. I mean, you had every type of genre up in that thing, and every type of story, which is dope. And that's what I loved about you when I saw you on the stage. I'm like, yo, this brother going in. He's going in. Tell us a little more about yourself.
So my name is Phillip Mcconnell. I am 34 years old. I almost forgot my age for a second. 34 years old, from Trenton, New Jersey. Poet, playwright, director, writer, script writer, and I don't know the correct term for a person that writes books, but I do that too. Visual artist, spoken word performer, and I do all the things except for sing, because God gave me limitations for obvious reasons.
I heard that, man. I'm definitely... Listen, you need me to drop a couple of tunes on you, I got you, man. That's what I do. I love singing, man. I posted that today, like, yo, I just really been in my personal space and my worship and all of that, and today's singing was I just needed it. You know what I mean? I really needed it, truly. I'm going to read a little bit of your bio. I'm going to read your bio, because I believe in giving all my brothers and sisters, artists of the genre, and then some. I believe in giving y'all your flowers, because our journeys are most essential for us. And people don't understand that as artists and whatever part of our artistry we are, we lay exposed before the world. And a lot of times people don't get a inside look at, yo, I'm really just like you. You know what I mean? I
Yeah,
fought this, I've been down this road, I've had my bout with depressions and all kinds of stuff. And my thing is, I want people to really, really appreciate you for who you are. Word.
appreciate that.
So my name is Phillip Mcconnell. I am a glitch artist, photographer, poet, spoken word performer, novelist, and scriptwriter from Trenton, New Jersey. I'm self-taught in all the disciplines by which I work. I began as a poet, then moved to perform spoken word. I taught myself to code. Wow. Become a programmer, and then moved into using computer code and create art through the medium of glitch art. My script writing is a heavy lens into poetic storytelling about visions and various subject matter ranging from different aspects of the human condition, such as love, loss, existential thoughts of success, fear, and most of all, time and how we navigate it. One of the main focuses of my work is to show my unique worldview and perspective as a Black creative and combine all the mediums of my work. Poetry was my first language. I learned to express myself through film and visual art, where the second, by combining where this, I learned to express myself through film and visual art. Where the second, by combining these forms of expression, I can discuss complex topics like working within themes of mental health, love loss, self-acceptance, and overall emotional intelligence. Many things I wasn't taught, but had to learn the hard way. I hope my work can be a voice for those who may not have one or know how to express themselves. Phillip Mcconnell. Let's talk about that self-expression, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Self-expression, especially when dealing with mental health and duress, and as we stay and pay attention to the things that are transpiring now, you know, with the elections,
Yeah.
with all the lens of Black Lives Matter. And, you know, it's not just about blue collar, it's about the whole nation. And if Black people aren't included, if we aren't included, then it's not about the whole nation. How do you feel about that, especially transcending that visual art into what is needed for those who don't have the voice to talk about?
So I feel very much like knowledge is power in these situations. You know, build and destroy, build and destroy. So the more you know, the better informed you are, the better you are to delegate topics or discuss topics that are currently going on. Because I was actually looking at something earlier that was talking about it's a terrible time to be like a history buff because history is very cyclical. So you see cycles and you see trends and you see them repeat themselves. And
Mm-hmm.
there are times when people don't know how to navigate these situations that are currently happening because A, they haven't seen it before, B, unprecedented times,
Mm-hmm.
and C, they don't have the tools to properly navigate and discuss these subjects. I've been grateful enough that my job actually offers therapy as like an extra service to them. So
Wow.
for the audience, I work at Apple, and
Mm-hmm.
they have a program set up for if you don't have a therapist, they will give you 12 free sessions to find a therapist that works for you. And
Wow.
it's totally on them. It's you don't got to pay a dime out of pocket. But through that, I've been with the company for about 5 years now. But
Mm-hmm.
and they've given me the ability to get therapy, and I've been with my therapist for a number of years now, but it was through there that I was able to find that. And prior to that, I'd never been to therapy, and I was just taking stuff on the chin and just dealing with it. So since I've been in therapy, I've had the ability to learn different aspects of emotional intelligence and different aspects of how to navigate the way that I feel about things. And not only navigate it, but also how to contextualize these feelings, which is then lended to my art. because a lot of the art that I make, poetry, visual art, deals with concepts of self. So I've learned how to express myself to people. Whereas poetry was my first voice, I never had that voice growing up, or at least I never knew how to express that voice. And then I
Right.
started writing, and then I started writing poetry, and then my voice came out because I had an outlet for the way that I felt, and not necessarily like telling my friends or telling my family. I could just express it to people, and it happened to rhyme, and people like that. So
Right. Right.
I would say overall is just understanding of self and knowledge of self, and also having the understanding of the world and the way the world works and how to navigate said world.
Mm, mm. It's interesting that you talk about having the opportunity to now you navigating both of these worlds and being able to work for one of the biggest tech giants out there. You know what I mean? And then being a great part of your therapy and allowing you all to as employees to benefit from that, because a lot of jobs nowadays the therapy they don't allow, you know what I mean, mental days to just take it down and breathe a bit. How do you push that agenda for those who don't have the voice and being a techie and sending that out amongst the world? Like, listen, these are things that are necessary for people to draw, back into themselves and to feel like themselves.
I'm very vocal with my mental health, and with so I do suffer from depression and anxiety, and I do deal with these things on the regular, but you still have to be a person. I'm not in the economic tax bracket where I can be
Yeah.
depressed and just live in that. I have to
Oh,
get up and
wow.
still go to work. I have to still do things. I have to still go to shows. I just still have to perform, because if I don't eat.
You're right.
So
That part.
I think more so part of my message in a lot of the work that I do is not only understanding those aspects about yourself, but being okay to talk about it,
Yeah.
because it's the conversation that's important, because it's not always being okay. There's a difference if somebody asks you, "Hey, how are you doing today?" That can make it. Like I had an instance today with my friend Maria, where I'm having a rough day, very, very sleep deprived, because I've been shooting, working on this second short film, which we'll get into later.
Yeah.
And
Word.
I went to go get like a Red Bull from the vending machine, and the vending machine contactless reader wasn't working. And I instantly was like, like I was just tired. All the exhaustion hit me at once. And she looks at me and she's like, "Yo, are you okay?" It's that
Mm.
simple. And I was very close to being like, "Nah." And then she said that, and I was like, "You know what? I am okay. It's just a Red Bull. It's fine. It'll be okay."
Yeah.
And that
Word.
brought me out of it. So it's also the communication piece, but being very vocal about the way that you feel, because sometimes people will feel that way and they won't say anything, and it just compounds and it builds and it builds and it builds. Then it hits a point to where now you are a shell of yourself, because all you're doing is masking.
Yeah.
So a lot of the work that I do tries to speak to that, so people feel comfortable in being that part of themselves, because it's not pretty. And with social media, a lot of things have to be pretty and dressed up, and it's
Yeah.
not pretty, but it's
That's
honest.
true.
And we
That's
need to
true.
be honest.
And do you feel like because we talk, you just mentioned not too long ago, a couple minutes ago, about not having that voice or being able to find that voice, you know what I mean, prior. So do you believe that maybe that's from previous childhood, growing into who you were, learning who you were, and then taking on different aspects of finding your voice? Do you think they ever clashed or?
I would say yes, because so my father is a man of logic, cold, hard logic. It makes sense. It makes dollars. It makes sense. The math is always math, and he is a man of like, I'm gonna make the things make sense. If it don't make sense, we're not doing it. Very pragmatic. My mother is a woman of emotion. She
Yeah.
feels her way through life.
Mm.
Both are good. Both are necessary. So a lot of aspects about me, at least, I believe in the concept of duality. You have to have both. You have to have the
Right.
logic with the emotion, but you can't let one override the other. I'm
Right.
dualistic by nature. I very much
Yeah.
look like my mother in the face, but I have my father's body frame. He's very, very
Mm.
wide, very, very strong, right? So
Mhm.
I'm very dualistic in nature, and I understand the aspects of like the divine masculine and divine feminine and all that as well. So I believe in duality in those aspects, and they used to clash a lot because I used to not have an understanding of what duality was and an understanding of that you need duality. You need to walk the physical as well as the spiritual. You need logic as well as emotion. Both of these things go in hand. Neither is right, neither is wrong. So they used to clash, but now as an adult, they don't clash because I have at least an understanding, small understanding, but an understanding nonetheless of what duality is.
Word. That's dope. That is that balance that we all be looking for. And I be in here clashing with myself like, what did you just do? You know what I mean? And I have to look in the mirror and be like, listen, calm down, cool it now, feel it in. But it is definitely important to definitely have that duality. That it does bring a lot of balance and keeps us somewhat on track for the most part till we get in those moments where I'm not getting out of bed. I don't feel like moving. Leave me alone. If you call me, it's D&D. Man, listen, I will press D&D in a minute. You've been all day somewhere else, just not on the phone. Hey man, so what we working on now? We got film festivals, we got short film. So let's talk about your journey through film festivals from indie to where you are now. How has that been?
Still indie, still figured it out. But I've had the pleasure of having a fantastic team of people that I get to work with. Honestly, like without them, I would not be anywhere where I'm at. So I have my producer, sound guy, and he does my editing as well. Well, we edit together. His name is Scott Glazer, super duper talented. He has a series called Parentheses that deals with different aspects of like creatives, and he talks to the creatives, get them to do their craft, and just basically highlights creative, similar to kind of what like you do as well. And then there is Ken Napier, who is a very talented actor, producer, and he has his own production studio, and I get the ability to like have him in projects, and he shows up the set, he knows his lines, he hits them every time, and then he'll like give you like 4 or 5 takes of the same thing in exact same position, but in 4 different ways, and it's like it's hard to pick which one is the best, but like he's very good at what he does. Then there is Malachi. Malachi is my DP, my cinematographer. I will never work with another cinematographer other than him in my entire career. How far I get, he is the only cinematographer and DP I will ever work with. I put that on everything. I stand on business. The man is an artist. Like the way I approach visual art is how he approaches cinematography. And honestly, like from what I've heard from other people, they don't color grade in camera. They send everything very flat, and then they send it to the editor, and then the editor color grades everything. No, he does it in camera. He takes his time, he sets up his lights, he sets up the shot the way that he wants it, and then what he does, hey Chris, and then what he does is everybody, and like he is an artist in the way that I am an artist, and I respect, like I see that, I respect that. And then there's Justin Featherson, who is my AD, who is the youngest of the bunch, but honestly, he will surpass all of us. The man, he has a vision. He's young. I got 10 years on him. I'm 34. But the way that he approaches things and his work ethic is phenomenal. Like, honestly, I wish I worked like that when I was his age. I'd be so much further along the path than I am now. Then there is
visionaries with you.
Exactly. Then there's Nasir Square, Nas is my age, and me and Nas met super duper randomly, which I'll tell you that story if you want, but it was like random off the cuff, and it was like maybe like 6 or 7 years ago. And now when I tell you, like, he's one of my closest friends, like,
wow.
Easily. And he is the best poet I've ever seen in real life.
Nas.
Good. He's good. He's really good. But
you gotta link us up, man. I need to hear this, brother.
Next show I'll bring him out, but he is phenomenal. And his writing ability too is like leaps and bounds farther ahead of where I'm at. Like his ability to take an idea and then conceptualize it and then write a piece about it. I wish I had. I wish I could do that. but
Wow,
he's
I
like,
love
he
that,
could do it.
man.
He could do it off the cuff too. Like I've watched him build a piece in like 30 minutes. Like the kid's good.
That's
And
what's up. That's what I love, man.
let me see. There's one more. So it's Ken Scott, Justin Malachi, and yeah. And then there's Doug, who is somebody that I'm new with working with. But he is somebody that is in the film industry, and he's
Uh-huh.
helped me a lot. He's shown me a lot. And because he doesn't have to, he's already in the industry. I'm super indie. He does not have to work with me. He doesn't have to even look in my direction. But I approached him about a project. Me and him talked about it. We chopped it up. I told him what the project was about, and he was like, "Yeah, I got you for what you
That's
need. I
what's up.
got you." Yeah,
That's that
and
connective energy, man.
yeah, yeah. And honestly, he's been super duper infallible to like the project that we're working on now. And I would not be where I'm at with the project without his help. Like literally super duper infallible. Let's
Word.
see.
So I got a couple questions on here for you, my boy. Shout out to Sean Wright, DJ Abel. Shout out to Chris Rockwell, y'all. Thank y'all for rocking with us tonight. So Sean Wright says, so what exactly are the current times repeating? And he was making a comment saying that he doesn't see it as repeating anything. He sees it as a continual, entitled, and listed racist behavior that feels comfortable putting on full display without care. So,
Well, when I say current times repeating, I mean history is very cyclical in nature. History will repeat itself. So when I say the current times, I mean we're watching a regime, we're watching a government come into place, and they're doing a lot of things that other governments have done in the past before terrible things happened. It's the buildup and it's the culmination of all these things and all these policies put in place. Like I was at work the other day and I had to explain, I'm glad that you still have, and I just gotta let pour your energy into that. I don't know if you got that. Yeah, so I feel like I had to explain the other day how policies work. It's not necessary. And I have a friend, her name is Brass Rabbit. She is into economics. She is studying economics now. She has her master's and then a doctorate. Then yeah, so she's super duper smart and she is much smarter about these topics than I am. I'll say that. But in terms of like policies and things like that happen, they take time to progress. So
yes.
one president will do some stuff and then the next president will reap the benefits. But if you don't know that these things take time to come to fruition, you think that the current one is the one that did the stuff, if that makes sense.
Thank you for saying that. I've been saying that for the past couple of weeks, and people are like, you don't know what you're talking about. I'm like, yo, man, it takes time for things to roll out, much like it takes time to add up your votes in a time period for the next president to take place. Y'all are blaming one person, but number one, that one person isn't the president. And number two, if you know the role and political endeavors of the cabinet, that one person doesn't have that type of power unless the power is usurped and or that president has been dethroned. So
exactly.
you know what I mean? We gotta know what we talking about before we just blast off. You know what I mean?
And I also want to speak to Sean Wright's comment as well. As far as having an artistic outlet to pour my energy into, I didn't always do that. This started with I did a dual show with one of my mentors. Her name's Tamara Torres. Very, very talented artist, possibly like one of the best artists in the Trenton area. Not possibly, but like my favorite artist in Trenton. And I think she is one of the best artists in Trenton, period. I will say that objectively and so
often, man.
The show that I did with her at the time, she was making a lot of political work and a lot of work that was very personal. And this is me when I'm starting out, so my work was very superficial. I was making art that spoke to me without saying like, hey, this is directly about anxiety. This is directly about mental health and mental illness. It was like, this is a thing. And if you get it, you get it. If you don't, you don't. And the show that I did with her, we collaborated on the show and then remixed each other's work. So we did about 6 pieces. 3 pieces were original pieces, and then we gave each other 3 pieces to like work on. And in that aspect of like her work is so good that I had to be honest with myself, and I had to work from that place, because if I didn't, it would look very pale standing next to her work. And that was like a very pivotal moment in my career was like having to work with her. And then I also have two other talented mentors as well, Addison Vincent, who taught me that self-expression doesn't always have to be pretty. Self-expression doesn't have to be like light and flowery, because that's the art that I was making. I was like, cool, this is light, it's buttery, and I like dark subject matter sometimes. And his work is shown a lot through that lens. And working with him, because he gave me my start as an artist, which is quick tangent. I started in, I want to say, I don't remember the year. It was 8 years ago now, but I was shipping proposals. I was not an artist at all. I had just graduated college. I had no idea what I wanted to do with my life. And I was shipping around proposals to different galleries. I knew I wanted to make art. I saw a documentary called The Radiant Child, which is about Basquiat. And it was like people interviewing his friends, his family, talking about art. And I was like, I want that. Whatever that is, that's what I want. But I can't draw to save my life. So my art was digital, but I was a photographer. So taking pictures, trying to figure it out. And then I'm shipping this work around. And I remember I had sent it to like maybe 10 galleries, and all of them said no, or they didn't say anything back in return. And then I sent a proposal to Art All Night was happening, which is the biggest art show in the city. It's a 24-hour art show that Artworks hosts. Art All Night was happening. I was working at Nissan as a car porter, and my friend Zoe, who knew I wanted to be an artist, and Zoe is like magical in this aspect because he does this with our entire friend group. Zoe sent me he sent me the thing for Art All Night, and I couldn't. My boss would not let me leave. I was like, hey, I really want to go drop the stuff off, and my boss was like, nah, you got to stay here, even though like it was dead. No one came in. So I was just sitting waiting for cars for about 6 hours. I was at Nissan at the time. My friend Mcconnell had got me the job there because I was fresh out of college, no job. He got me a job. Love that man to death. So sitting there waiting for cars, and I'm scrolling on the Artworks website. I'm like, all right, let me see what else they got. They have an open call for proposals. I'd like I look that night. I'm like, all right, how do I write a proposal? What do I do? What am I doing wrong? And then I submit the proposal to Artworks. I get an email from Addison, the current team at the time, which was Addison, Jesse, and Lauren. And I get an email like, hey, we really like your stuff. Want to give you a solo show. Which that's my first endeavor in the art, was getting a solo show, but they took a chance on me. Addison took a chance on me. Jesse and Lauren took a chance on me when they didn't have to. They said they looked at the stuff and was like, this is unlike anything we've seen on the internet that exists in the capacity of what you make. So they gave me a chance, and now I'm here. And then my last mentor, who showed me the business side of art, Craig Shofed. And like without that, I would not be able to, because I was selling my pieces for like $50 a piece. It'd be it'd be something like this size. And I'll say, all right, I'll give you $100 for it. This piece is like $2,000 right now. So
see, that's cool, man.
Yeah.
We don't want to shortchange ourselves. We gotta, you know what? And let's talk about this. Let's throw this affirmation out there about knowing our worth. You know what I'm saying? Know your worth and don't shortchange yourself for nobody. I said this to another artist that when I was beginning my podcast. I've been going on almost 4 years now, and I said this to another young artist, and she's dope. She's fire, and she was shortchanged by a couple of quote unquote big boys, big wigs. You know what I mean? They told her her art was too loud. Nobody's going to accept that. So let me tell you something. She asked me personally, and there's a piece that she has that I love, and it's talking about the womb. And she said, well, how much do you think that I go for? I said, what? I said, you out of your mind? I said, the starting rate is 10,000. I tell you, she's covering art shows now. She's got exhibits everywhere. And the sister selling her art. You know what I mean? Just that moment of speaking life into her and telling her, you know your worth. Don't shortchange yourself to nobody else, because people people, they do the wrong. They don't. Sometimes people don't know what to say, so they say whatever's in their mind, and then they think you're supposed to accept it because you're in this type of position or that type of position. You know what I'm saying? And that's
Mm-hmm.
one of the things that in growing in our art, we don't have time for. We don't have time to deplete our worth because we've been doing this. You know what I mean? We've been doing it. So now you've proven, and I'm glad that your mentors came to you and let you know, like, look, these are things that have to be done. Don't shortchange who you are for nobody. And speaking of mentors, let's talk about the importance of mentors being that guidance for us. You know what I mean? I
Mm-hmm.
think in my darkest hour, and I was living in Philly. I was going through a divorce and everything, man. I was living
Yeah.
in Philly with my godmom. In my darkest hours, two of my mentors came to me and said, listen, you must keep going.
Mm.
Because if you let this knock you out the park, every little thing that comes up after this will knock you off. It'll derail you. We keep stepping. We'll write about it and step over it. We'll keep voicing who we are and what's on our heart. And whether it's dark matter or not, you know what I mean? That's still the
Mm-hmm.
internal spirit that you have in you. So let's talk about the importance of those mentors.
So I mentors are ultimately infallible.
Yeah. Chris is going ham on here, man.
Chris, I love you. I love you and I appreciate you. You know that. Like
Yeah.
a quick tangent. When I went to the slam, I saw Chris and I got excited and I was like, oh, it's lit in here. I know you and I know what you bring to the table, so I know what we about to do. So and I
Yeah.
told him that, I was like, yo, I need to step my game up because I've heard you spit before and I need to get better so I can meet you where you're at. So Chris, I'm coming for you. But that's another topic for another time. But in terms of
Challenge.
mentors, so in terms of mentors, like one of my mentors, Tamara, I remember I had made a body of work and I had spent like the whole summer making it, but like my heart wasn't in it because I made the body of work. This is visual art, so I made it for somebody and I put out to the world. I did an art show and like that person was there and it was for them and they didn't really like they gel with it, but it was like, okay, cool, this is a thing that you made for me. And it was about like 23 pieces that I had made of this person.
Yeah.
And I remember my mentor saw the show. She came to the show, supported me, Tamara. And then after the show, this was like maybe like a week later, she was like, what's wrong with you? I was like, what do you mean? She was like, your heart wasn't in that. I could tell, even by the way you were talking about it, you just made that just to make it. And like your heart wasn't in it. And then she was like, yes, the spark, the thing is gone. Was good with you. And when she said that, I was like, oh, you're right. I had not been making art for myself. I was making it strictly to please this person. And because I did that, it wasn't authentic. It wasn't, and it hit. It did not, no one resonated with it. It's probably like the only show that I did where I had not sold a single piece of art. And I've done about so in my 8-year career, I've done about 32 solo shows and maybe like 34, 35 group shows. So I've been outside. So, and I've typically sold at least one piece or at least one print every show. And this show, I didn't sell anything. That's the first time it happened in my career. And my mentor had said that. I was like, you right. That makes sense. That's why that did what it did, because I didn't do what I had to do because I was focused on something else and not on the art. So that kind of put the battery in my back, lit a fire under my ass, and now just literally hit the ground running.
Yeah.
So like
real talk.
in that aspect, like mentors are infallible. Like a mentor will help you get better. A mentor raises the pressure in the room, like Chris does.
The room. Wait, he got you got a message up here. My guy. Chris, you shot out, man.
Yeah.
But yeah, they definitely that's added pressure, but it's good pressure because it definitely reminds us and keeps us centered. as far as, okay, you step to the side a little bit. I got a couple of my people who read. A lot of times when I write, especially if I'm submitting for a book, and I got a couple that I'm writing that are all, it's just me right now. So, I got plenty of editors out there that be like, tell me where you was going with this one. Let's get some clarity on it. And I'll be like, oh Lord, they finna pick me apart. And sometimes I'll be sweating. I'll be sweating bullets. Yo, I'm nervous, this and that. And needless to say, I had a couple people who I really trust, with my heart and words, look over some of the stuff that I submitted for my recent anthology, Queen Narrative, Evidence Brown. And when they read everything, they both said the same thing about one piece. And it was more centered, like it was like almost like a protest peace anthem, but like it broke down different vibe, you know what I mean? And so they said, I just need to know some clarity on this. Why would you group this with such pieces? And I said, because the mothers of the world are on the line. Their hearts are on the line.
That's beautiful.
You know what I mean? Their hearts are on the line. So when they wake up in the morning, they're still wondering if their children are still thinking, if their young kings are still thinking, if they're still moving in a direction that draws them to places where they shouldn't be. You know what I mean? Or it's tearing their heart up. So most of the time, as sisters, as women, as queens, we don't talk about our what we deal with in our minds often. We emotionally speak out. But our young kings, they angrily voice.
Yes.
But they don't converse about it. You know what I mean? So I said, there's really no difference, but there is a difference because, in raising young men, I realize a lot of times they don't voice or they don't come to the door because maybe they're afraid, or maybe they're tired of being dictated to, or tired of being judged. You know what I mean? And so, whereas as women, as sisters, we emotionally speak out. Blah, blah, blah. You know what I'm saying? Like we go off. The brothers will sit there and ponder, and when they hit the street and the pavement, that's where their anger comes out, and that's where they get, tied to sometimes the wrong things. They tie the wrong knots, and they go into the, so it's like a lot of times people dictate to us how we should share our emotion and talk about our emotion, but they're not really internal to understand where our emotions stem from. You know what I mean? And that's why I wrote that piece out of that type of emotion. Like, as mothers, we wonder, but fathers are just as well in the race too. And fathers don't always know how to step to their sons and be like, yo, it's a lot. It was a lot internally into that. It was just like, yo, I'm gonna just leave it as is. I'm not changing nothing, and let's see what comes out of the conversation. But it just, most of the time we don't get an opportunity to voice who we are. So for our mentors, they definitely have that special place in our hearts to be like picking us apart, and we like just shredded the hell out of me just now.
Yeah. It's that.
So I thank you for that concept, making sure that we definitely, it is important to keep you. So if you're listening, make sure you get you a mentor if you don't have one. And if you do have one, and connect and get that perspective, because wholeheartedly they're thinking about you, you know what I mean? And so let's talk about the next film fest. What are we doing? We got another one coming up?
So I got a few things coming up, right? So I have a book that I'm releasing in January titled The Sunflower Allergic to the Sun. It's a collection of poems. So listen, I love to speak to your editors because right now I'm just out the mud with it. So I'd like to actually talk to somebody that knows what they're doing. But Sunflower Allergic to the Sun.
I'll shoot you some people.
Yeah, I love that. Sunflower Allergic to the Sun is a collection of poetry. It's about 15 poems, and it tells a story of two people going through from them being a thing to not being a thing, and then after. So
Wow.
beginning, middle, end, 3 acts. Uh,
Chunky.
yeah, the next short film. So I have one short film that is in post production right now, titled Peripheral Blue, and it is about an artist who is trying to balance his work life, art life,
Mm-hmm.
his job, and failing at all three. And this is causing him a great deal of anxiety. And because of this, his
Wow.
anxiety is manifesting itself as a sleep paralysis demon that is stalking his dreams and then starts to stalk his waking world. And he starts to blend the line between his reality and his dream world. And he starts to lose track of what is what, all while trying to maintain his art career. So
Yeah, I
little
need all.
graphical in a sense, a little bit, tiny bit. Then there
I
is
need all them copies, brother.
then there is Parable of Fate, which is an action movie about two brothers who have not spoken in years. And one brother, his name is Pluto, works for, and this is a magic realism fantasy short film. So
Okay.
one brother, Pluto, works for an oppressive force called Dominion. Dominion has outlawed magic in this time period. A series of crimes have happened inside of the city that they live in. Pluto is sent to find his brother Dio because the magic signature at these crimes matches his brother. Dio is being set up. So Pluto goes to find Dio. They have a conversation in a bar after not have spoken in years, and feelings bubble up and they have a fight. It's an action movie.
Okay.
And there is a twist at the end, but that when it's out, I'll send it out.
Yeah, no doubt, man.
But yeah, so that's Parable of Fate. And then the next one after that is a feature film that I am writing with Nas and Justin called Save Me for Last. Save Me for Last is it's a film about going to a film festival and what the concept of film festivals are like, but it is told using the backdrop of the Peter Pan story, the original Peter Pan story, not the Disney one, but what the original folklore Peter Pan story, because it's dark. It's not fun. Not fun.
No, it's not.
Not at all. So we took that and gave it a modern twist, and it's a comedy, satire, coming of age movie. It's funny. It's funny as hell. But that'll be the first feature that we write, and then the next short film after that is called Poe's Law. Is a political drama that deals with a social media influencer who is trying to regain social media fame. They had a viral video like 4 or 5 years ago. Now they still trying to get that same hype. And then they see a account that is spitting very right-wing conspiracy theory stuff. And then they start to make that type of content because they see that it's gaining traction. So they adopt a persona called Red Wing, where they wear like a ski mat, a red ski mask with an American flag at the top of it. And then they proceed to do all of that, all the super duper right-wing stuff. And then it immediately goes left. They get doxxed and then they switch lanes. But the film is about the concept of self. So Poe's Law is an actual term used to describe someone who is, their persona on the internet is different than who they are in real life.
Wow.
So the concept of the show, yeah, Poe's Law, yeah, it's crazy, right? So then the concept
P-O-S-E?
Huh?
P-O-S-E?
P-O-S-E, Poe's Law, like Edgar Allan Poe. Has nothing to do with Edgar Allan Poe, but Poe's Law.
Word.
So yeah, P-O-S-E. So no, P-O-W-S-E. Poe.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, word.
Yeah.
That's
so
different.
that one is typically about the concept of self. So the goal is to get Peripheral Blue and Parable of Fate over the finish line, which we will have them done by the end of January. And then we'll do a small screening, which is just like friends, family, very intimate gathering, which I will send you an invite to as well.
Yes, please.
And then there'll be a bigger screening, which we will do at a local theater, which we will invite social media influencers and social media people just to discuss the concepts of the film and what we're doing. It'll be like a pseudo film festival of sorts. And then we have plans for a small theatrical release. Very, very small. I'm talking about like 2 or 3 theaters small, but that's the right direction is the point. we making forward progress by any
Yeah,
means.
yeah, no doubt.
So yeah, and then in terms of
That's
film
good for
festivals,
progress.
yeah, and then in terms of film festivals, the next one we want to hit is so Jim Thorpe Film Festival, which is in Jim Thorpe, PA, Allentown Film Festival, Allentown, PA, Jersey City not Jersey City, yeah, Jersey City Film Festival, and then there's a few in Atlanta that I want to go to. Black Star Film Festival is one that I'm eyeing, I'm looking at it, but we'll see if we get in.
Yeah, word, man. Black Star is dope, man.
Yeah, yeah.
Had a film, a couple people from here who put their films in Black Star. They actually got accepted into it, and bro, they doing some major things. So that's dope. That's dope. And
Yeah,
I'm
Black
gonna
Star.
pray that you get up in that thing because
Yeah.
I hear the chunkiness of what you working with, man.
And then obviously like a Sundance, a South by Southwest, Tribeca, Austin Film Festival, Nashville Film Festival, just the bigger ones. Those are the ones that will make or break a filmmaker's career. So for me and me trying to do all this and also trying to do it with the people that I'm doing it with, because my whole team is friends. These are all people that I know, all people that are in my stuff. They're all friends. These are all people that I would consider, not would, but these are people that I consider family, right?
Word.
And so there's this funny thing. But like a lot of stuff that I do is very heavily anime inspired. So there's this concept in anime, this team in anime called the Phantom Troop.
Okay.
And it's a team from this anime called Hunter x Hunter, right? Because everything I do is heavily anime inspired because I'm a nerd at heart, right?
And, I love anime.
And then like their different names in my phones are members of the Phantom Troop. They don't know it because this is just a me thing right now. Like I tell them this, but they don't actually know it's just a me thing. But all their names are dedicated to that part because like I consider us like family, and like when we get to that place, because it's not about me getting to that place, it's about we. It's about the collective we. How do we all get to that place? How do we all become financially stable from the things that we want to do? It's not just about me. Everything is about the group.
Word. That's beautiful thinking. Definitely. You know what I mean? Some of the best entourages out there, some of the best groups out there come together. You know what I mean? I think about Janelle Monáe, who, you know what I mean, who did dinner over, and quite a few people that she collabs with that, you know, she gets together with it, when they do major albums or collaborations, you notice that the same collective that she's dealing with are together, which is fire. It keeps us grounded, you know what I mean? And it keeps us focused on what we need. And we always know we got somebody who's going to sharpshoot us.
Yeah.
And we got somebody who's going to sugarcoat us.
Yeah, I also want to shout out Mike. I also want to shout out Mike too, because Mike is the reason that we met. Mike approached me and my other friend Mike about performing a piece at the Slam in Highland. And honestly, Mike is one of the dopest poets I know. And the fact that he approached me, I was like, oh, okay. I mean, listen, you're better than me, but sure, I'll touch the stage with you. But like even Mike putting the battery in the back to, yo, I believe in you. You can do this thing.
That's what's up, man. That's what's up. We all need it, man. We all need it. I got something that be stepping on my toes, and I be like, yo, what are we doing? Are we dancing? Are we getting mad? What are we doing? But it definitely keeps me going, keeps me focused. And, you know, from one artist to another, I truly understand that mentality, especially having so many facets of the arts up under you. You know what I mean? One day, listen, I'm gonna take a break from over here, and I'm gonna go focus over here. I'm gonna put my focus over here. You know what I mean? And it definitely, it grounds us and it keeps moving. And that mobility is important in artistry, man. I would be sleeping if I didn't. People be like, "Oh, how you keep going? Like I saw you over here, now you over here." Listen, don't worry about my process, okay? My process gotta keep flowing. I got to.
Yeah.
So,
and also just having other artists like raise the temperature in the room. Like I remember the first time I heard Chris spit, I went to one of his poetry slams, This was maybe like 3 years ago. I went to one of his slams and I was set to like I signed my name up on the thing, and I had this poem that I was going to do in mind. It was something light, very very light, filling out the room, see how it is. And then I heard him spit, and I instantly was like, "Oh, nah, I gotta change this shit." I'm going.
Yo, he's gonna do that to you.
Exactly. Like,
you'd be the first person to be like, I can't go after you. I can't go after you.
Like, what you mean? You need to follow that? No, what are you doing? I'm gonna go home. I'm leaving. So it's like it's having people like that in life, and then me and Chris have become like kind of friends in the sense to where now I've gotten the ability to like hear him spit a few times and then learn more about him and stuff like that. And it's made me a better poet. Having just being next to him and being around him has made me a better poet. Same thing with like Nas. Same thing. So Nas's partner, Shadira, she's also very talented. Like when I tell you, it's like you ever have somebody say a poem and it touches your soul?
Yeah.
It's like all her poems are like that. It's just like it's buckling. Yeah. So it's like having the ability to be around. And then there's another poet in our area, Todd Evans. Todd is like the OG poetry scene. You know Todd?
Yes, I do. Willenboro's finest. Shout out to the mama boy.
Todd is the OG out here. Like Todd is OG, been OG. And hearing him spit and being around all the poets in the area that are of that caliber has just raised everything. Just made everything better. It makes everybody better. Because everybody they're trying to one up each other, but not in the competitive sense of the negativity of competitiveness. Just like, yo, you're really good. I'm trying to be like you.
Yeah, this is we get on the stage. You gonna be on stage too? Listen, man, this is an MC battle all the way from the bridge to the bridge. Exactly. Bricks to Brooklyn. We doing this today, but you know what? Shout out to Todd Evans, man. Todd Evans is a lot of people that I attribute to having such pivots in my career. As a poet, as a writer, as a journalist, you know what I'm saying? And Todd Evans is one of those people. Number one, he's a person that believes in you from the gate. Like, yo, I see it in you. You know what I mean? Even when I only had one book under my belt, he was like, yo, come to the author's fair. Get you a table. I got you. Now I got like 5 or 6 of them. You know what I mean? And you know what I mean? So now it's like, wow, look at where I was then versus now, and all of the things that have contributed, my resume as an artist. But when you deal with Todd, you're dealing with an OG who got greatness under him. He never ceases to amaze me, man. He gets people together that you would never thought would be in a room. And I'm talking from here to the waterworks in Trenton. You're like, how did you get this? How did we even get into the water building, Todd? You know what I mean? God, and another one of my good people from up in the Trenton area, the T-Town area, Gandhi, Uganda. You know who Gandhi is?
Name sounds familiar.
Yeah, man. Listen, Gandhi had one of the best restaurant highlighted in the area, and it was right down the street from the train station. It was a Jamaican restaurant and lounge. And man, when I tell you, we would go up there, and I think I was the only poet coming from South Jersey, from down in this area, Atlantic City. And I would get on like 2 buses in the train from Camden and ride all the way to Trenton. It'd be late at night, man. Listen, Uganda and his wife have been like they've been earmarked in this career. And one of the reasons why I always frequent Trenton was because of him. And yo, man, I've met some dope artists, man. And between Trenton, Jersey, and Philly, listen, it's a family affair, man. Anytime I get a chance to see a lot of these people, that's Talam AC, that's Alicia Wise, anytime I get a chance to see any of them, it's like, wow. So this world we deal in as artists is so vast. You never know who you're going to stumble across. That's why Highland, excited me. I'm like, yo, we got poets up here. I've never even been to Highland Park.
there was one poet I wish we could have met. His name is so the poem that we performed, that me and Mike performed, was called
Uh-huh.
Coffee Shop. And there was additional poet that was supposed to be up there with us, but he had some
Mm-hmm.
stuff happen. Well, they had some stuff happen. They couldn't come out. Their name is Mike Whittington, and
Mm-hmm.
easily one of the best voices I've ever heard. Like when I tell you, like Morgan Freeman voice of God, like that, yeah, like
Okay.
easily. So in the so I made a visual for Coffee Shop as a proof of concept that is part of a
Uh-huh.
bigger story that I'm still like writing and developing. So I made Coffee Shop as a proof of concept. And in this, I had Mike do the voice as the narrator. And easily that is every time somebody sees it, they're like, oh yeah, the voice, it got me, it got me. And I was like, okay, you
Mm-hmm.
know, the poem visuals, no, it's the voice that got, yeah. So like all
Word.
the people I talked to were like, yo, the voice. But Mike is also a very, very talented artist in his own right. He's actually in the next short film I'm working on, Parable of Fate. He is the
Okay,
star.
word.
Well, him and
Word.
Ken are they're leads. They're both leads in the film.
I'm looking forward to
Mike,
that, man.
yeah,
Definitely.
Mike is Dio, Ken is Pluto. But yeah, we'll have that out. I'm excited. Actually, everybody I named is in that film, and I'm very excited about that.
Yeah. That's the chord. Obviously, that's the core crew. Let's rock together. We rock
hmm
and we making that grip together. That's how it's supposed to be. I need you to do me a favor though, man. I've been
hmm
talking about how dope this poet is, Kon-El. You spin a couple things for us tonight?
I got you. Let me get my phone. Let me see.
From Highland to AC. Worldwide, here we go, y'all. We about to go on this dope ride. And I'm gonna
uh
tell y'all something, man. This brother is dope. He's fly. And I want y'all to rock with him. Once he's done, we're gonna give y'all the digits so y'all can figure it out, find them, put it in your computers so you can connect with this brother and get down with him and know what his track is and what he's doing. So y'all take
okay.
it ear.
I got one poem for you. I got one poem for you. Or do you want me
I
to
got
two?
you. It's up to you, man. Whatever you feel comfortable with.
I'll do two. I'll do two. So I got one poem that's about self, and then I got one poem that I wrote about the love of my life.
Okay. Okay.
This first poem is called Growing Up. Growing up, I heard a phrase a lot. If I'm being honest, this phrase probably explains why I form words in the fashion that I do. The phrase was, home is where the heart is. I mean, it's real simple, right? It's not a very profound ideal as an adult, but as a wide eyed 12-year-old who falls in love with the sun every time it sets, or who falls in love with flowers that won't make it through spring to see summer, I wonder, why do I always fall in love with temporary things? I mean, home is where the heart is after all. Then I guess I must be homeless, huh? Because the home I wanted to invest in rests in smoldering embers, and now I stand outside under clouds created by word storms, all because we didn't speak the same love language. See, you talked with your hands and closed your eyes and became deaf to the fact that I would have done anything to get the home back.
Hmm.
But honestly, maybe I lacked the foresight to see what was further than an arm's reach. Maybe I couldn't look past the future I thought was in front of me. See, growing up, I heard this thing about soulmates and how love can take many forms and how through action love can be born and unbreakable bonds formed. Yet ours was built on a foundation. And ours was crafted on the shifting sands of our situation. See, the base of us wasn't strong enough to withstand the winds of change. See, growing up, I was crushed under the weight of having the gift of unlimited potential and having people fall in love with it rather than me. They only see the face on the screen rather than the body behind it. The body composed of the things that make him, him, the motives that drive him, the phase that haunts him. Once they learn these truths, they grow to despise him as if his name became a synonym for disappointment.
Hmm.
See, growing up, I've seen this look on many faces, but your face was the only one that meant anything. Growing up, I've always heard that love finds a way. And in many ways, I still kind of believe this to be true. So I guess in some ways, I still haven't grown up, while in others, I feel like I have. Or maybe, just maybe, I'm still that 12-year-old kid outside chasing sunsets with a handful of flowers. Maybe.
Wow. Whew.
So that.
That just touched me in my soul. Like, wow, to the core. Okay.
Okay, let me get some water real quick before I go into this next one. This is
Man.
water.
And I got some iced tea. I had some hot tea, but it wasn't working right.
All right, so the title of this one is called My Stardust. You remind me of stardust. You remind me of the tiny things that make up everything. They are so simple in their form, yet so complex in their structure. Like when I look at you, and I've never wanted to kiss someone with a hello before I said word. The very picture of you looks perfect, as if it were blessed by the camera gods to be immortal. And every time I see you, I'm ambushed by your magnificent radiance, taken back by beauty reserved for the likes of pen and ink or oil paint. You, an idea that is only given to masters of the arts in their dreams to bring to life. You, a 5 foot something promise of a human being that plants eagle-sized butterflies in the hearts and stomachs of men as she glides by them. You, a 3 a.m. on a Saturday night, living with all the freedom in all the ways that matter. You, a prayer of fireflies on a dark road, soft in their glow, but gives me comfort to know that I'm following the right path. You, daughter of Zeus, muse, creator, goddess. Me, son of Lilith, destroyer, broken, fallen. Each of us is drunk on our life's purpose. Each of us is intoxicated by unfathomable goals, and each of us is dangerous in other people's hands who don't know how to handle our soft curves and our even sharper edges. See, they can't handle our oftentimes too hot and even more frequently times too cold. See, people don't understand how to hold someone or something of dual nature, yet our palms fit like puzzle pieces. I'm grateful to have met you, and even more blessed to be able to say I love you and to have you love me in return. See, I cherish moments like this. And when the day finally comes and we share an aisle, and you white dress clad with me draped in a black suit waiting at the end of where I want to spend the rest of my life, people will ask when I knew that you were my one and only. And I'll say, when we first met and your eyes were the only lights that deserved to be seen all year long, I'll say I've been waiting for this single moment ever since I heard how our names tangled together sound like every love poem that has ever been written. I'll say that if I could get drunk off your words alone, my friends would have to take my keys every time you spoke to me. I'll tell them I knew you were my one and only, and I knew you were the person that I wanted to be. By the way, I wanted to be with you until our stars turned to dust. And even after that. And when we meet again and reform into a new star, I'll tell them that I will love you just as the same as the first day that we met. My Stardust.
Ooh. Okay. Okay, can I say that? Listen, I love that Stardust. It's very sentimental and sultry in a way. But it's very open to where your heart is.
Like I said, I wrote about my life.
Okay. I mean, shoot, why wouldn't you? Oh, oh man, like wow. Okay. Okay, y'all. So listen, we're not gonna keep doing this to y'all because y'all ain't ready for it. Y'all ain't ready for it. But we definitely have had a time here tonight with Phillip. You guys can call him Kon-El. Mcconnell. We appreciate your time and your presence here on StageLeft. StageLeft appreciates you. And what we want you to do is tell people how they can find you. How can they purchase any of your written works, where they can find you at and keep up with your schedule or releases for what you have upcoming.
So if you go to philipmcconnellart.com, You can find a lot of my stuff there. So that is Phillip, PhillipMcconnell art.com. You'll find most of my stuff there. Or my Instagram handle is ME_KON_EL. That's typically where I post all my stuff. I don't really have I have a Facebook, but I don't really post on Facebook, and I don't have a Twitter. So
y'all know I was nosy. I was hunting the brother down. Like, look. Y'all make sure y'all go purchase some art. Make sure you go and look through brother's work and purchase some of his work. It is dope. It is phenomenal. I'm grateful and honored to be able to host you in this interview tonight. I'm looking forward to more. I really am. You really made a lasting impression from the first time we met to up to now. Lasting impression, and I don't take that for granted. I take that very personally. So we'll definitely, and knowing that we got this onboard challenge with brother Chris, you know what I mean. So
I wouldn't say it's a challenge. I am excited to collaborate with Chris, and I've told him this that I want to collaborate with him because, like, I love his poetry. I love the way he spits, and I want to work with him in that aspect. And he is kind of like one of the only poets that I haven't really worked with that I really enjoy. I'm a fan of Chris. All the people that I named, I'm a fan of. Like, I'm a legitimate fan. Like, when they pop out, I pop out. If I'm in the area, I pop out. Because, like, you're a fan. You should be a fan of your friends. Like, so, and I've been telling Chris, like, yo, I want to collaborate with you.
So like, Chris he's dope. He's fire.
Yeah. I feel like what would happen to our pieces is that I would write a verse and then I send it to him and then he send me one back, and then I would change my verse and then write another verse and I send those two to him and then he send me, like, that's what I'm anticipating for. Wouldn't that happen?
No, it's definitely going down. Listen, because when Rock get on the ones and twos and he say, "Yo, we got to get together," you know what I mean? This is what we do. He be moving, shaking, and moving. We'll say it's an open call. He does what he does, but he does it in a lot of love, and I'm grateful to my brother because he definitely when he sees a challenge or something that's ahead, he calls on the sis. He calls on the big sis. He like, "Yo, you know I need you on this one." I'm like,
I'm excited to go head to head with Chris.
Yeah, he's dope, man. He's dope, and I'm humble and I'm honored to meet such artists such as yourselves that, you know what I mean, inspire me, and keep me going and encourage, because, you know what I mean. I love what we do as poets, as filmmakers, as artists, well-rounded. I love what we do. We give the world a different perspective and voice. Use your voice and continue to use your voice. Thank you so much for chilling with us, rocking with us.
And your poem too. Your poem at the thing. It literally, like, I heard the room just suck the air out of the room. Like, it was like you could hear a pin drop. Like,
man, listen, I'm one of those. You know, I used to be real raw. You know what I mean? Real hardcore, just come out and spit something and bounce. The mic, wow. And now it's like, you know, for me, every stage has a purpose and a meaning. And it's become so versatile, whether it's political, whether it's family oriented, whether it's sensual, it's a purpose, you know what I mean? And right now we live in a time where we got so much to air out, you know what I mean? And a poet, it's a poet and a writer's job. It's a filmmaker's job to help the world see that through this lens. You know what I mean? All the lenses they got, this lens is efficient. It's real. You know what I mean? So I'm grateful for that, man. The stage is my home. That's where I'm most comfortable at.
Yeah, I don't feel comfortable anywhere else in the world but on stage.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Thank you so much, brother. You do your thing. Do your thing. Don't forget to send me my red carpet invite, because I'm gonna come up there. I'm gonna wear one of my dope brims.
Oh, 100%. I got you. And I'm gonna invite you to the book signing too, because I want to I want to make it a night. I don't want it to just be about the book signing. So I want to invite poets to perform as well. Give everybody like a 15-minute set. We rock the stage and then we hang out and we drink wine together.
Let me know, man. I'm always up to come rock out. You know what I mean? And that would be dope. I'm honored to be able to partake in your signing. And listen, we're gonna work. We're gonna work. So, yo, man, enjoy your night though. Thank you. Y'all already know who it is, man. Your sis and Big Brother came in here and did the thing. I hope y'all thoroughly enjoyed. Please share, click like, follow, share. 609 Stage Left over on IG, and then hop on over to Facebook. Do the same. Stage Left, no 609. Drop the digits. Just put the letters up in that thing and share with the world. Let the world know this is what we're doing, and we keep circulating because we want you to be informed and not misinformed, loved on and not hated on, excited and happy and not bitter. Life too simple, too sweet. Enjoy the fruits because y'all too uptight, and we don't like uptight. Yo, we up out of this joint. I love y'all. Mwah.